The invitation sat on my desk like a landmine wrapped in gold foil. I'd been staring at it for 20 minutes, watching the embossed letters catch the fluorescent office light. Another corporate networking event where I'd have to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm Presley, and I design other people's dreams for a living. Mostly logos and branding packages that end up on business cards people toss in the trash. But this invitation promised something different, a chance to showcase my work to actual decision makers. You're not seriously thinking of skipping this, are you? Maya leaned over my cubicle wall, her dark curls falling forward. The guest list is insane. Every major agency in the city will be there. That's exactly why I'm hesitating. I spun my chair to face her. You know how I get at these things. Like a deer in headlights, except the deer is wearing a cocktail dress it can't afford. Which is why you're wearing that black number I saw in your closet last week, she grinned. The one that makes you look like you could buy and sell everyone in the room, I groaned. That dress was a moment of temporary insanity. That dress is your ticket to being noticed. Maya snatched the invitation off my desk. Besides, I already RSVP'd for both of us. You what? I reached for the invitation, but she held it above her head, laughing. Consider it an intervention. You've been hiding in this cubicle for too long. It's time to let people see what you can do. Before I could argue, Ethan, my boss, appeared behind Maya. Good, you got the invitation. The Morrison account will be there. I need you to walk them through the campaign concepts. My stomach dropped. The Morrison account? But that's your project. Was my project. Now it's yours. He dropped a thick folder on my desk. You've been doing the heavy lifting anyway. Time you got the credit. As he walked away, Maya squeezed my shoulder. See, the universe is conspiring in your favor. But the universe had a twisted sense of humor. The event was at Marcus's bar, the newest hotspot in downtown that everyone wouldn't shut up about. I'd never been, but I'd heard the stories. Exclusive guest lists, craft cocktails that cost more than my grocery budget, and an owner who collected connections like trading cards. That night, I stood in front of my bedroom mirror, trying to channel confidence into the reflection staring back at me. The black dress did its job, making me look like someone who belonged in places with crystal chandeliers and champagne fountains. Maya texted, "Car's here, no backing out now." The bar was everything I'd heard and more. Crystal and brass everywhere, music that hummed just below conversation level, and people who looked like they stepped out of magazine covers. Maya disappeared within minutes, leaving me clutching a glass of wine like a life preserver. That's an interesting choice. A voice behind me made me turn. A man with sharp features and an even sharper suit gestured to my wine. The house red at a place famous for its cocktails. Sometimes the obvious choice is the wrong one. The words came out before I could stop them. He laughed, genuine amusement lighting up his face. I'm Derek, and you're either very brave or very foolish to say that to the owner's future brother-in-law. My cheeks burned. Presley. And apparently, I'm the fool who just insulted your family's business. Don't worry about it. Marcus needs someone to puncture his ego occasionally. Derek's eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled. Though maybe don't mention that I said that. Something in his expression made me relax slightly. Your secret's safe with me. Speaking of secrets, he leaned closer. Want to know the best drink in the house? The one that's not on any menu? Before I could answer, a woman appeared at his side, her presence immediately commanding attention. Derek, darling, are you corrupting another innocent with your off-menu suggestions? Lily, this is Presley. Presley, my sister Lily. Derek's introduction carried a weight I didn't understand yet. Lily's smile didn't reach her eyes as she looked me over. Charmed, I'm sure. Derek, Marcus needs you for the investor introductions. As they walked away, I caught Lily glancing back at me, her expression calculating. Something about that look sent a chill down my spine, like I'd just stepped into a game I didn't know I was playing. Maya appeared at my elbow. Was that Derek Matthews, the fitness guru? But I was watching Lily disappear into the crowd, remembering that cold assessment in her eyes. Sometimes the worst traps are the ones you walk into willingly, wearing your best black dress and carrying a glass of house red. 3 weeks after the networking event, I found myself doing burpees at Derek's gym, questioning every life choice that led to this moment. He moved through the space like he owned it, correcting forms and offering encouragement to his clients with an ease I envied. Your form's getting better," he said, stopping beside my mat. "But you're still thinking too much." "Thinking is what keeps me alive." I collapsed onto my back, chest heaving. Unlike some people who apparently enjoy torture, he crouched down, grinning. "Dinner tonight will make up for it. Lily's cooking at my place." My stomach tightened, and not from the workout. Since that first night at Marcus's bar, I'd seen Lily 3 more times. Each encounter left me feeling like I'd failed some test I didn't know I was taking. I should probably go home and work on the Morrison campaign. "Please?" Derek's hand found mine. "She's making an effort, says she wants to get to know you better." That's what I was afraid of. Later, standing in Derek's kitchen, I watched Lily move with precise efficiency, her designer outfit somehow pristine despite the cooking. Marcus lounged against the counter, swirling wine in a glass that probably cost more than my phone. "Presley, darling." Lily's voice dripped honey. "Derek mentioned you have some food allergies. Nothing in this dish should trigger them, but one can never be too careful." "Just shellfish," I said, trying to peek at what she was cooking. "It's not severe." "Oh, but allergies are nothing to joke about." She turned, face concerned. "Marcus's ex nearly died from a reaction once. Terrible business." Marcus's expression flickered for a moment. "Ancient history, love." "Still, Lily continued, "we should be careful with family." The word family hung in the air like smoke. Derek beamed, oblivious to the undertow of tension. "Speaking of family," Marcus set down his wine. "Derek, that investment opportunity we discussed." "Not tonight," Derek cut him off, wrapping an arm around my waist. "Tonight's about getting to know Presley better." Lily's knife hit the cutting board with precise, sharp clicks. "Of course. Tell us, Presley, how's that big account going? The Morrison project?" "It's challenging." I accepted the wine Derek offered, needing something to do with my hands. "But rewarding. Challenging can be good." Marcus smiled, all teeth. "Shows what you're made of. Right, Lily?" "Indeed." She turned, holding a serving dish. "Dinner's ready. I made seafood risotto." My glass froze halfway to my lips. "Seafood? Oh!" Lily's hand flew to her mouth. "The shellfish allergy. I completely forgot. How terrible of me." Derek started to stand. "I can order something." No, Lily waved him down. "I made a chicken dish too, just in case. Though it's not quite as special." The chicken was dry and underseasoned. I ate it anyway, watching Lily and Marcus share meaningful glances over their perfect risotto. Derek kept squeezing my knee under the table, proud of how well everyone was getting along. "You know," Lily said as we finished, "I'm redecorating a client's office next week. They might need some graphic design work. I could put in a good word." "That's generous," I managed, "but I'm pretty busy with current clients." "Family should help family," she pressed. "Unless you don't consider us family." Before I could respond, Marcus's phone buzzed. His face darkened as he read the message. "Problem at the bar." He stood abruptly. "Lily, I need you." "Now?" Derek frowned. "We haven't had dessert." "Business calls, darling." Lily kissed his cheek, then turned to me. "Rain check on dessert? And do think about that referral." After they left, Derek helped me clean up, humming contentedly. "See, not so bad, right?" I stared at the leftover risotto, remembering Lily's forgetfulness about my allergy. "Right." "Hey." He turned me to face him. "You okay?" I forced a smile, pushing down the unease in my gut. "Perfect." But later that night, scrolling through social media, I found a post from Marcus's bar from 2 hours ago. "Another perfect night. No problems here." I stared at the timestamp, then at the dozens of comments from regular patrons about the wonderful evening. There had been no emergency. That's when I started keeping notes. The hospital lights buzzed overhead as I sat in the emergency room, an IV dripping antihistamines into my arm. Maya paced beside the bed, her heels clicking against the linoleum floor. "This isn't a coincidence," she said, stopping to face me. "First the risotto, Now this? I touched my still swollen throat. The prawns had been hidden in the pasta sauce at Lily's dinner party, discovered only after my throat started closing. Derek had rushed me to the hospital while Lily played the concerned hostess, wringing her hands and swearing she'd told the caterer about my allergy. Marcus's ex, I said, my voice raspy. The one with the seafood allergy who nearly died. I need you to find her. Maya's eyes widened. You think? I don't think anything yet. I just need to know. The door opened and Derek burst in, his face tight with worry. The doctor says you can go home soon. Lily's devastated. She fired the entire catering company. How convenient, Maya muttered. Derek frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Before Maya could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Coffee tomorrow? We should talk. Rachel. Who's Rachel? Derek asked, reading over my shoulder. Marcus's ex, I said, watching his expression. She reached out through my work website. Something flickered across Derek's face. Doubt. Maybe fear. You shouldn't meet her. Marcus said she's unstable, tried to cause problems after their breakup. Did Marcus say that, or did Lily? Does it matter? He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I know tonight was scary, but it was just a mistake. Lily would never... Never what, Derek? The words came out sharper than intended. Never hurt someone you care about? The silence stretched between us like a tightrope. Maya quietly excused herself, squeezing my hand as she left. I should call Lily, Derek finally said. Let her know you're okay. After he stepped out, I opened my laptop and pulled up the document I'd been building. Screenshots of social media posts, dates of emergencies that pulled Derek away from dates, and now, 2 suspicious allergic reactions. The pattern was there, but I needed proof. The next morning, I sat in a quiet cafe across town, watching a woman approach my table. Rachel was elegant but tired-looking, like someone who carried too many secrets. You look better than I did after my trip to the ER, she said, sitting down. Though I guess that's the point. What point? She stirred her coffee slowly. Did they use shellfish or nuts with you? They went with nuts for me. Lily swore she told the baker about my allergy. My hands started shaking. How many others? That I know of? 3. All serious girlfriends, all with convenient allergic reactions. She pulled out her phone, showing me photos. Amanda was hospitalized twice before she left. Sarah nearly died. And Derek never suspected? Lily's his blind spot, always has been. Rachel's voice softened. Marcus picks the targets, but Lily, she's the architect. She'll never let anyone have Derek, not really. Why are you telling me this? Because you're different. You're keeping records, asking questions. And because... She hesitated, glancing around before continuing. I found something in Marcus's office. Something about Derek's gym, about money moving where it shouldn't. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek. Where are you? Lily's worried. Rachel stood up. Be careful with that information. And whatever you do, don't eat anything Lily gives you. Next time might not be a warning. That evening, I sat in my apartment, staring at my investigation notes. My phone kept lighting up with messages from Derek, each one more concerned than the last. The final piece clicked when I found the article. Local fitness trainer inherits family trust. The date matched the first girlfriend's mysterious departure. My phone buzzed again. Lily this time. Family dinner tomorrow night. No caterers, I promise. Just us. We need to talk. I looked at the hospital bracelet still on my wrist, then at the evidence spread across my desk. The choice crystallized. I could run, like the others, or I could stay and fight. I texted back, looking forward to it. Sometimes the best revenge starts with showing up for dinner. The USB drive felt heavy in my pocket as I walked through Marcus's bar after hours. He'd invited me for a private conversation. Just the 2 of us, no Lily, no Derek. The main room was empty, except for Marcus behind the bar, methodically polishing glasses. Bourbon? He held up a bottle without looking at me. I'll pass. I sat at the bar, keeping my distance. What's this about? Straight to business. I respect that. He set down the glass. I know you've been digging, talking to Rachel. looking into the trust fund. My pulse quickened, but I kept my face neutral. Concerned? Impressed, actually. He leaned forward. Most of Derek's girlfriends run away by now. You're made of sterner stuff. Is that a compliment or a threat? Neither, it's an opportunity. He pulled out a folder. Lily's not the only one with secrets. Did Derek ever tell you why he really starred at that gym? I thought of the trust fund article, the timing of the previous girlfriend's departures. I assume it wasn't just for the love of fitness. Marcus smiled, sliding the folder toward me. Take a look, but not here. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Maya. 911. Derek's at the office looking for you. He knows about Rachel. Marcus watched my expression change. Tick-tock, Presley. Choose your next move carefully. I grabbed the folder and left without another word. Outside, the night air hit my face like a slap. 3 missed calls from Derek, 2 from Lily. I started walking, needing to think. Maya met me at our usual coffee shop, her face grim. He was asking about your investigation files. I told him you were at a client meeting. How did he find out about Rachel? Lily saw you two at the cafe. She showed Derek pictures. Maya hesitated. There's more. The Morrison account? Someone sent the client emails suggesting you've been distracted, making mistakes. The pieces clicked together. They're trying to isolate me. Work, Derek, everything. What's in the folder? I opened it, spreading documents across the table. Financial records, emails, photos. The story they told made my stomach turn. The gym, I whispered. It's not just Derek's. It's part of a money laundering operation. Marcus has been using it to clean cash from other businesses. Does Derek know? According to these, he signed the papers. But look at the dates. Right after his father died, when Lily and Marcus were helping him with the inheritance. Maya studied the documents. This could ruin him. That's the point. Insurance. I gathered the papers. Marcus showed me these because he knows I won't use them, not without destroying Derek, too. My phone buzzed again. Derek. We need to talk, now. What are you going to do? Maya asked. I pulled out the USB drive. Fight fire with fire. I need you to keep something safe for me. When I walked into Derek's gym that night, he was alone in the office, staring at old photos. Us at dinner parties, family gatherings, moments I'd thought were real. Rachel wasn't unstable, was she? His voice was quiet. None of them were. No. Lily says you're trying to turn me against her, that you've been investigating our family, spreading lies. Are they lies, Derek? I moved closer. The allergic reactions, the convenient emergencies, the way your girlfriends disappear when they get too close to the truth about the gym? He flinched. The gym is legitimate. Parts of it are, the parts you see. You don't understand. Lily and Marcus saved me after Dad died. I was a mess. They helped me build something. They built a cage, I said softly. And they made you think it was a kingdom. He stood up, anger and fear warring in his expression. I want you to stop. No more investigations. No more talking to exes. Please. Or what? Or I can't protect you. The words hung between us like a knife. I thought of the documents in Maya's possession, the evidence I'd gathered, the pattern of broken women who'd tried to love him. Maybe, I said, moving toward the door. I'm not the one who needs protection. I left him there, surrounded by photos of a happiness that never really existed. Sometimes, the hardest part of revenge isn't hurting your enemies. It's saving the people they've convinced to become their weapons. The Morrison client presentation was going perfectly until Lily walked into the conference room. She slipped into the back row while I was mid-sentence, her presence like a shadow falling across my carefully constructed world. As you can see, I continued, fighting to keep my voice steady, the rebranding strategy targets your key demographics while maintaining brand recognition. Ethan nodded approvingly from his seat. The clients seemed engaged, but Lily's smile, reflected in the conference room glass, made my skin crawl. After the presentation, she cornered me in the break room. Impressive work, though I heard there were some concerns about consistency. Nothing I can't handle. I reached for my coffee, deliberately turning my back to her. Of course, though Derek's worried about you, you know. working so hard, getting so paranoid about things. I set my mug down before I could throw it. Is that why you're here? To check on me for Derek? Actually, I'm here about Marcus's offer. She moved closer, her voice dropping. He showed you those documents for a reason. Smart girl like you must see the opportunity there. Opportunity for what? Partnership. Protection. Her perfectly manicured nails traced patterns on the counter. Family takes care of family after all, unless you'd rather be another Rachel. The threat hung in the air between us. Before I could respond, Maya burst in. Presley, you need to see this. On Maya's phone was a news article. Local fitness center under investigation for financial irregularities. Below it, a photo of Derek leaving the gym, looking shell-shocked. Lily's smile widened. Oh dear, how unfortunate. I pushed past her, running to my desk. 3 missed calls from Derek. A text from Marcus. Time's running out. Make the smart choice. My hands shook as I dialed Derek's number, straight to voicemail. He won't answer, Lily said from behind me. He's rather busy dealing with the audit team. Amazing how anonymous tips can spiral so quickly. I turned to face her. You did this, to your own brother. I protected him, like I always have. She adjusted her designer jacket. The audit will find nothing concrete, this time. But next time? Well, that depends on you. What do you want? Break up with him, tonight. Tell him you can't handle the scandal, the stress, whatever story you prefer. She pulled out an envelope. In return, certain documents disappear. Everyone wins. Maya stepped between us. You're insane! I'm practical. Lily placed the envelope on my desk. You have until midnight. Choose wisely. After she left, I opened my laptop, hands trembling as I accessed the encrypted files I'd been gathering. Photos, financial records, testimonies from Rachel and the others. Everything that could bring down Lily and Marcus, and Derek. Maya touched my shoulder. What are you going to do? My phone buzzed again. Derek, please, I need you. I stared at the message, remembering his face in the gym office, caught between loyalty and truth. Then I thought of Rachel's tired eyes, the hospital visits, all the women who'd tried to save him before me. Get me everything you can on the audit, I said, standing up, and call Ethan. I need a favor. You're not giving in? I picked up Lily's envelope, feeling its weight. No, I'm done playing their game. Time to change the rules. That night, I sat in Marcus's empty bar again, but this time I wasn't alone. Ethan stood beside me, along with 2 people he'd introduced as old friends from the financial crimes unit. Marcus's smile faltered when he saw them. We're closed. Actually, I said, placing Lily's envelope on the bar, we're just getting started. Whatever you think you're doing, I'm making the smart choice. I pulled out my phone, showing him the live stream of Lily receiving similar visitors at her design studio. The question is, are you? His face hardened. You'll destroy Derek too. No, I met his gaze steadily. You already did that. I'm just giving him a chance to save himself. As the investigators moved forward, I thought of Derek, probably sitting in his office surrounded by the ruins of his carefully constructed life. Sometimes saving someone means letting them fall far enough to see who pushed them, and sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about forcing them to face the truth they've buried under years of lies. The family gathering at a Derek's parents' lake house felt like walking into a trap I'd set myself. Faces turned as I entered. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all wearing expressions that ranged from concern to suspicion. News of the gym investigation had spread fast. Derek stood by the fireplace, looking lost in his childhood home. Lily perched nearby like a guard dog, while Marcus worked the room with practiced charm. My USB drive felt heavy in my pocket, containing everything I'd gathered about their manipulation and crimes. Presley! Derek's mother approached, her smile strained. We weren't sure you'd come. I wouldn't miss it. I matched her smile, watching Lily's eyes narrow. Family is everything, right? The afternoon unfolded like a slow-motion car crash. Whispered conversations stopped when I walked by. Marcus kept refilling drinks, making sure everyone was just loose enough to react dramatically to whatever was coming. Then Derek stood up, glass in hand. "I have something to say." My heart stopped. This wasn't part of my plan. "With everything that's happened," he started, voice shaking, "I've done a lot of thinking. About trust. About family." Lily moved closer to him, protective. I caught Marcus smirking behind his glass. "The gym investigation," Derek continued, "made me realize who's really been there for me, who I can trust." I reached for the USB drive, knowing it was now or never. "Presley," he turned to me, "I know about the files, the ones you've been collecting, about my family." The room went silent. Every eye turned to me. "Derek?" "Lily showed me everything. The secret meetings with Rachel, the investigators you hired, how you've been building a case against us." My carefully constructed plan crumbled. Lily had gotten to him first. "Did she show you the hospital records?" I stepped forward. "The pattern of convenient accidents? The financial documents from Marcus's bar?" "Don't," Derek warned. "Just don't make this worse." "Listen to him, dear," Lily purred. "Haven't you caused enough damage?" I pulled out the USB drive. "Everything I found is here. About the money laundering, the sabotage, all of it. Ask yourself why they're so desperate to stop me from showing you." "Because it's lies," Lily snapped. "Because you're trying to destroy this family." "No." I connected the drive to the TV mounted above the fireplace. "I'm trying to save what's left of it." But when I opened the files, they were corrupted. Every single one. Marcus's smile widened as I frantically tried to recover them. "Technology can be so unreliable," he said softly. Derek shook his head, looking at me with a mixture of pity and disappointment. "I think you should leave." "Derek, please." "Now." His voice cracked. "Before I call the police." As I walked out, leaving behind the wreckage of my revenge, I heard Lily comforting Derek, playing the protective sister one last time, but at the door, Marcus caught up with me. "I warned you about making smart choices," he whispered. "But don't worry, we'll take good care of him. We always have." I made it to my car before the tears came. My phone buzzed with a text from Maya. "They got to the backup files too. I'm so sorry." Everything I'd gathered, every piece of evidence, gone. And worse, they'd turned it around, made me look like the manipulator, the destroyer of families. Another text came through, this one from an unknown number. "You should have taken the deal. Now you get to watch what happens next." I started the car, hands shaking on the wheel. Through the window, I could see Derek in his childhood bedroom, Lily by his side, probably spinning more lies about how she'd protected him from another woman trying to tear their family apart. The irony wasn't lost on me. In trying to expose their manipulation, I'd played right into their hands. They'd taken my evidence, my credibility, and finally, Derek himself. But as I drove away from the lake house, something shifted inside me. They thought they'd won, thought the fate'd broken me completely. They didn't realize that sometimes hitting rock bottom isn't the end. Sometimes it's just where you plant your feet to push back harder. I pulled over and called Rachel. "Remember that contingency plan we discussed? It's time." Because Lily and Marcus had taught me one valuable lesson. The most dangerous enemy isn't the one who has nothing left to lose. It's the one who has nothing left to hide. The charity gala at Marcus's bar felt like a powder keg waiting for a spark. Crystal chandeliers threw fractured light across faces I'd come to know too well over the past months. Lily, holding court near the bar. Marcus, charm turned up to 11 as he worked the crowd. Derek, looking lost in his perfectly tailored suit. I adjusted my red dress, the same one I'd worn when I first met Derek here. Rachel's words echoed in my head. "The files are ready, just give the signal." "Quite the turnout!" Marcus appeared beside me, champagne in hand. "Though I'm surprised you had the nerve to show up. I learned from the best." I smiled, watching his confidence flicker. How to put on a good show. Across the room, Maya positioned herself near the AV controls. Ethan stood by the entrance, phone ready. The pieces were in place. "Derek's doing better," Marcus continued. "Lily's been a rock through all this, Unpleasantness. Has she? I turned to face him. Or has she just gotten better at covering her tracks? His smile tightened. Careful, Presley. You've already lost everything. Don't make it worse. Actually, I glanced at my watch. I think I'm about to get it all back. The lights dimmed. The massive screen behind the bar flickered to life. Marcus's face drained of color as security footage began playing. Dozens of clips showing him and Lily plotting, manipulating, destroying evidence. What? Amazing what people will share when they realize you're not the only victim. I raised my voice. Like your bartenders, your security team, all those people you thought were loyal? The crowd turned, watching the screen. Lily rushed forward, but froze as audio filled the room, her voice clear and cruel, discussing how to handle Derek's girlfriends. Turn it off, she hissed. I can't. I met her gaze. Just like you couldn't stop sabotaging Derek's life, couldn't stop controlling him. Derek pushed through the crowd, his face a mask of shock as he watched years of manipulation unfold on screen. The allergic reactions, the accidents, the financial fraud. It's all lies, Lily grabbed his arm. She's trying to destroy us. No, Rachel stepped forward, holding up her phone. It's all true. And the FBI has everything. Marcus lunged for the AV controls, but Maya was faster. More footage played. Marcus's private office meetings, the money laundering operation, everything. Derek, Lily's voice cracked. Everything I did was to protect you. Protect me? He jerked away from her. You tried to kill Presley. You destroyed every relationship I've ever had. Because they weren't good enough, Lily screamed. None of them understood what you needed. What I needed? Derek's voice cut through the room. I needed a sister, not a jailer. Marcus made a break for the exit, but found Ethan and 2 FBI agents waiting. The room erupted in chaos as more agents entered, moving toward Lily. She turned to me, mask finally cracking. You think this fixes anything? He'll never trust anyone again, not after knowing how easily he was manipulated. You've destroyed him just as much as we did. No, I stepped closer. I gave him the truth, something you never had the courage to do. As the agents led them away, Derek stood alone in the center of the room, watching years of carefully constructed lies crumble around him. I wanted to go to him, but this wasn't about us anymore. How long? He asked when I approached. How long have you known? Since Rachel. But Derek, you had to see it for yourself. No one could tell you the truth. You had to choose to see it. He nodded slowly, looking at the screen where the evidence of his sister's betrayal played on loop. I don't know who I am without their version of me. Maybe that's the point. I touched his arm gently. Maybe now you get to find out. Outside, police lights painted the street blue and red. I watched as they led Marcus and Lily to separate cars, their empire of manipulation finally falling apart. What happens now? Derek asked, his voice hollow. I looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since this all began. That depends on what you want to happen. Because sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's about giving someone the chance to save themselves. And sometimes the greatest act of love is stepping back and letting them decide if they want to be saved. The courthouse steps felt colder than they should have in spring. I watched Lily and Marcus emerge in handcuffs, their designer clothes replaced by muted colors that matched their fallen expressions. Lily's eyes found mine in the crowd, and for a moment, I saw something I'd never expected. Understanding. Derek stood at the bottom of the steps, hands in his pockets, watching his sister being led away. He hadn't attended the trial, but he'd come for the sentencing. Some things you need to witness to finally let them go. 5 years, Maya whispered beside me. Seems light. The prison time isn't the real punishment, I said, thinking of the empire they'd lost, the relationships destroyed, the trust they'd never regain. As the police cars pulled away, I approached Derek. He'd lost weight, gained some gray at his temples. The gym had new management now, legitimate and clean. I found something in Lily's papers, he said without preamble. A letter from our father. He knew what she was doing, even back then. Tried to stop it. What happened? She convinced him he was imagining things, made him doubt himself until he— Derek swallowed hard. That's what she did to all of us. Made us doubt our own reality. A light rain started falling, scattering the remaining crowd. Rachel had declined to attend, saying she'd already given enough of her life to their story. I understood now. Sometimes walking away is its own kind of victory. The Morrison campaign won an award, I said, changing the subject. Ethan's talking about a partnership track. Derek smiled slightly. You always were better at building things than tearing them down. We walked to a nearby coffee shop, not Marcus's bar, which stood empty now, its windows papered over. The same barista who'd witnessed my conversation with Rachel months ago nodded in recognition. I keep thinking about what Lily said. Derek stirred his coffee absently. About protecting me. In her mind, she was showing love the only way she knew how. That doesn't make it right. No, but it makes it human. He looked up at me. I'm selling the lake house. Too many ghosts. I thought of that family gathering, how everything had shattered like the wine glass Lily had dropped when she realized she'd finally lost control. What will you do now? Start over. Maybe somewhere where no one's trying to save me or destroy me. He reached across the table, squeezed my hand once. Thank you for showing me the truth, even when I didn't want to see it. And us? He stood up, leaving his coffee untouched. Some things break for a reason, Presley. Maybe we needed this to become who we're supposed to be. After he left, I sat there thinking about revenge and justice, about how victory sometimes feels like loss. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus's private number, somehow sent from prison. You won. But ask yourself, are you really so different from us? I deleted the message without responding. He'd never understand that the difference wasn't in the actions, but in the choice to stop, to walk away when the truth was revealed, instead of burying it under more lies. Maya found me still sitting there as evening fell. Rachel called. She's starting a support group for survivors of manipulation. Wants to know if you'll speak. Tell her no. I stood up, gathering my things. Some stories need to end. Outside, the rain had stopped. The city lights reflected off the wet pavement, creating mirrors everywhere I looked. In each one, I saw different versions of myself. The victim, the investigator, the avenger. But none of them felt quite right anymore. I walked past Marcus's bar one last time. Through the papered windows, I caught a glimpse of someone inside, probably real estate agents, preparing for a sale. The space would become something new, just like all of us. My phone buzzed again. Ethan, with news about another client, another project, another chance to create rather than destroy. I answered it, ready to build something new. Because in the end, the best revenge isn't about making others suffer. It's about refusing to let their darkness define you. Even if that means walking away from your own reflection, trusting that whatever comes next will be born from truth, not manipulation. And sometimes, that's enough.